Hey, Matt, good morning. Question, what's it going to be like to play at 10:30 in the morning, and how does the basketball versus your body clock, that adjustment work?
Well, good morning. I think 10:30 games should be interesting. I think this kind of goes back to AAU games and when you were young, maybe 14, 15 years old, having to wake up and get out of the hotel room or get out of the house with your parents and get to the game and get ready, get your body prepared, get started, and just get going. I'm a little older now, so to be a little bit more of a more work for me to get warm and get ready to go. But with all that said, I will come ready to play basketball.
And a follow-up, can you describe from a player's perspective what it's like to play at altitude?
It's really tough. And for the freshmen coming in, for Lamont coming in and serving big minutes, I'll talk to him and tell him that the altitude is more of a mentality thing. When you come in, you'll feel it in your chest a little bit, feel it in your head, and from there on, it's just mentality. So it's just fight fatigue.
I'm curious, now that you've played a couple of these doubleheader-like games, have you learned anything that you didn't expect, or what has been the takeaway from playing these back-to-back games against the same team?
I think it was exactly how I said it was. It's more of a chess match. See what players on the court can figure things out, can do something a little bit different, maybe break off of a play and get a bucket for their team. When it comes down to it, a lot of these teams in this conference are tough, like Nevada, like Utah State coming up. So it'll likely be situations where we'll have to come into it and maybe a play won't work, and because Utah State knows our plays, we'll know theirs, and we might have to break off a play and find a way to get a bucket.
And I'm curious, it felt like last year, I think it was the San Jose State game where Malachi hit that buzzer beater for the win that really helped springboard you guys. Not that you guys weren't already having a great season, but is a buzzer beater win like the one you guys had against Nevada something that can really help springboard you guys even further?
I definitely think it is. I think it's a high confidence boost for Trey. He's been a little bit shaky back and forth with the floater. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't. And being able to see that go in, I feel all confidence in the world for him and taking that shot any time of the day. So I definitely think a shot like that is something that gives you momentum, not only personally on his part, but definitely as a team too, and just having that motivation factor and grinding it out, getting a win late.
Matt, you'll be on CBS again. What does it mean to play on CBS? Is it just another game, or are you guys aware of the fact that it's a much bigger national audience?
I think we're aware of the fact that it's a bigger audience, and that people are watching it all over the world. But at the same time, when you go in that gym, it's not as many people as you would think it is. It's COVID. They're allowing less fans in, so you have to approach it as it is another game. You just got to come into it saying that this is the game in front of you. We're going to focus on this, not focusing on we're playing on national television and having a good game. We just got to come in and play as a team, whether the big time cameras are on or not. We just got to come in and play our same game.
There's a chance, and I haven't seen definitively whether it's going to happen or not, that there will be fans in the stands. You have not played. I mean, there were some family members at Arizona State, but just a few dozen. You have not played in front of what we would normally call fans of any type this year. Are you prepared for that? Is it going to be a weird feeling?
I don't think it'd be a weird feeling. Being in college now, this is my fourth year. I think I'm used to the smaller gyms with no fans and growing up playing with in a gym where there's not as many fans as you would think. Playing on lower level divisions where there's not fans, there's not scouts in the stands in the morning. And so I don't think me or the team will take it too one way, be too high or too low about it. We'll come in and play our game and not worry about whether there's fans or not.
And last thing, going back to Trey, you mentioned the confidence boost for him. Has it been unfair in many respects? I mean, he replaced a guy who's in the NBA as a starting point guard. And has the expectations maybe among outsiders been a little bit too high for him, and seeing that he's a different player? And how do you think he's managed those?
No, not at all. I wouldn't say these expectations are too high for Trey. I think Trey is coming into his own. He's getting a feel for the game, and he's playing as hard as he can. He's doing everything he's been asked to do. He's told to do. He guards guys 94 feet. He runs a team on the other end. Trey's really an unsung hero in our story, because the way I see it, he does a lot of intangible things that people maybe don't take account for.
Watching Utah State play, they seem to get a lot of an inordinate amount of those 50-50 balls, right? And that starts a lot with Justin Bean. How do you, as the leader of the team, get you and your just your team to be able to match their intensity, their effort, to be able to get those 50-50 balls?
That starts in practice, and we talked about that for all of our previous games. 50-50 balls, especially the last game, and Nevada seemingly came up with most of the balls that were lingering, or maybe a ball that bounced one way. They got a hand on it, or something along the lines of that. So it's maybe more mentality in that way, and putting effort into it, and just going for the ball. I think that's all it is to it. You just got to come in with a hard hat mindset, and just be ready to go. So Justin Bean, these guys are very well-rounded, hard-working players. And so I've played against Bean these last 2 years, and getting a feel for him, and know he's a hard-nosed player, wants to rebound the ball, get on the floor, and get that confidence boost for his team, and just getting to that ball first would be big time for us, especially on the road.
And then you've been tremendous at being able to get to the free throw line. And there's other players that have come to San Diego State who've also been good like that. But a lot of them look like they're trying to draw fouls, and you don't seem to be that kind of a player. And so I guess just more that question of how do you draw so many fouls? And then, how do you do it in the flow of the game, as opposed to, it doesn't seem like you're hunting for him as much as other players?
That starts with constant communication with the coaches and the players, and just knowing my spots, knowing how to get to my spots, when to get to my spots, how to play through the flow of the offense, and just having a feel for all of my players. And that comes with trying to be the leader of this team and trying to lead these guys. I'm not necessarily hunting my shot, because we have a lot of guys that can put this ball in the basket, and a lot of guys that can really score. So, I can't really hunt my shot a lot, and be that selfish type of player, knowing that I have all these guys around me that can play too, because that allows us to be so great. That allows us to have the winning record we have right now. So I don't hunt my shot, because I don't feel a need to. These guys that I'm playing alongside with are more than capable of getting the job done.
You mentioned good COVID just a little bit ago, as we've all been dealing with. The whole athletic department there at San Diego State seems like it's been remarkably clean. Haven't had to have really any games delayed. Coach Dutch held a rope out of a game just because it could even look like symptoms. Turns out, thankfully, it was clear. Can you just kind of talk about the commitment that you as student athletes have made to make sure that you're doing things the right way, being around the college campus, and to make sure that you guys can have a season that's uninterrupted by this? Because it's really been a great job you guys have been doing.
You said it there. It's been a great job that everybody has done, and not only the players and doing a good job and not going out or not straying away from the different protocols that we have, but also the people that are set in place to help clean up after us, to help sanitize before we hit the gym. I think all these people are important. All these people play a huge part in it, and so I'm just glad to be able to play uninterrupted basketball. It's kind of sad to see AG have to miss a game because he fell a little ill, and then maybe just because of the time it is and nowadays, and you want to sit him out just for the safety of all the players, everybody in the gym, really. And so everybody's done a great job. I think we've done one of the better jobs in the nation at playing uninterrupted basketball.
And then kind of a combination of two things you talked about earlier, but when you go to altitude, it's going to kind of mess you up a little bit. When you're at altitude for a couple of days, it does tend to kind of regulate the body. Do you think or anticipate any kind of a difference being there for a couple of games, being there for multiple days, that maybe the second game you might have some more wind? The shot might be a little bit different, a little bit more on the legs for the back half of it.
Oh, definitely. I think that second game will definitely be a little bit tougher. Just not being in altitude, not living in altitude, and so we'll just have to take the right precautions. And Sergio is already taking the first step in making beet juice for us, which is good in altitude. And so our trainers, our coaching staff, we'll take the right measures and helping our guys to be healthy and not get tired so quick. But it's all fight fatigue. As Dutch says, mental toughness, extra effort. That's all it is. It's mentality. So we just got to come in locked in, knowing that it's going to be tough, but we're going to have to fight through.
How does the beet juice taste?
Man, it's right here. It's really yeah. I don't know if you can see it. It's really dark red. And so I wouldn't say it's the best taste in the world, but it definitely does a trick. So I'm sucking it up.
I'm going to go check WebMD for beet juice now. Thanks, Matt.
All right.
Matt, you mentioned AG missing a game. He has not been starting the last few games. How does that change your role in terms of your offensive and defensive responsibilities, sort of shifting between the 3 and the 4?
I think it changes my role a little bit in the sense that I'm able to, one, be a little bit more aggressive, get in the paint a little bit more because I got a bigger guy on me. Maybe the guy has slower feet. Whatever it is, sometimes I feel like I have a mismatch. But for not only myself to get a bucket, but to make plays for my teammates. To get in the paint and draw two because my guy is slower, another guy will step up, want to help, and then I can kick. And get that ball moving, get guys into rotations, get guys open shots. And so I think me being at the 4 isn't such a bad thing, and especially where I'm able to work in that middle of the paint, and really get in the heart of the defense and get Nate a shot, get Trey a shot, get Adam a shot, get these guys going, and get these guys running with me.
So do you prefer playing the 4 to playing the 3?
I prefer positionless basketball. I think that's the guy I am. I'm a 1 through 4 kind of guy on offense and defense. I wouldn't say I really have one solid position on this team, and I think everybody would say the same.
Hey, Matt, this is kind of off the topic, but we were all so excited at what Malachi Flynn had become and what happened to him going to Toronto, and he had a pretty good preseason. Have you conversed with him at all about what the NBA is like now? Have you had any conversations since the season started? Because he went 2 weeks without scoring a basket. Now he's finally gotten some points with the Raptors. But have you had any conversation about his experience?
I haven't had any conversation with him yet about his experience. I have had thought to text him here in the next couple weeks or so. But as you know, when guys make it to the league, there's a lot of people that may want to be in your ear, may want to be around, and in constant contact. And I want to let Malachi live in his moment and live his life. And maybe when I step closer to my goal in making the NBA, I can ask him those type of questions. I'm just focused on winning these games right now, and I'm happy for Malachi and everything he's doing. And congratulations to him on his first bucket and his great performance. But I'm focused on winning games.